You studied very hard in the last time. You passed all your exams, you wrote your thesis, and now it's the end of your studies. This is a special day, but we have to celebrate it under special conditions. So I thought we do something different, what we cannot do in normal graduation ceremony. I will take you to a trip abroad. What you see in front of you is a border. You can clearly see the borderline.
Side, or you go to the other side, to Poland, and go to the hospital in Swinoujscie. And thanks to the European agreements, you do not even have to pay for this. But it's getting cold. Let's go inside again. You know the situation I showed you from Maastricht 2. Here even 3 countries come together. The Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. And you know that I always say our students live in Belgium, study in the Netherlands and go shopping in Germany, and while they do this they never have to show a passport. But the case of Poland and Germany is very special. There was a clear divide for over 30 years and there were different political systems. East Germany and Poland on the one side, West Germany on the other side.
In Germany, and while they do this, they never have to show a passport.
You learned about all
But
this
the case of
during your
Poland
studies
and Germany
while
is very
comparing
special.
different
There was a clear
health
divide
systems of different countries. But now we recently had this border up again. To combat COVID-19, governments had to decide to close these borders. What did this mean for health? Of course, on the one hand, you could limit the spread of the virus. On the other hand, there were unintentional side effects of this. Just one example. A lot of Polish people work in homes for the elderly in Germany. When the lockdown came, they could not travel. You can imagine what this meant for the situations in home for the elderly in Germany. Also, other general problems come up. A recent study from France showed that there was a decrease of 30% in the treatment of acute myocardial infarction. Of course, heart attacks happened during lockdown too, so 30% of the people did not seek help. I hope that this will not lead to long-term consequences. And there are other problems. Recent studies show that the uptake of screening for certain diseases is going down. And I hope, again, that this will not have long-term effects. And this is exactly what your job will be as the new generation of public health specialists in the upcoming decade of public health. In this decade of public health, you have to analyze the situation now and learn the lessons out of it, so that we are prepared for other public health emergencies to come and we do not have to close borders again. As it was my job of my generation to work in infectious diseases on HIV and the health system changes due to the fall of the Iron Curtain, your generation has to work now on pandemic preparedness. And please, please help me to find the borderline again. Can someone please help me to find the border? Where was it again? I don't know, can't see anymore. Okay, let's see how this will work out.
Okay, thank you, Professor Brandt. We will now continue with the actual graduation. And I need to explain the procedure to you, which are some more instruction than we used to give. So we will ask you to come down within your thesis groups. Please do not cross each other. Wear the mouth mask whenever you come down or walk over here. When the thesis group supervisor is addressing you, please stand at the left side with sufficient distance to each other. After the address, I will mention your name and you can present the certificate here, and you can actually need to take it up yourself here. You turn around, look at the camera above there, and you greet or wave to your family and friends for a moment. Afterwards, you walk to the picture stand at the right side, take off the mask there, present the diploma, the picture is taken. Afterwards, please put on the mask again, come over here. Matt will hand over the rose to you and get seated again. That's a lot. I guess when the first group has gone through all the procedure, it will get clear. So for the first group, I invite to come down Laura Schelling and Hannelore Poirier. And this thesis group has been supervised by Professor Angela Brandt. And I have the honor to read out the address to you. Laura. Personalized medicine in European health systems. Recommendations for implementation. Dear Laura, everywhere the topic is in the air now. There's a lot of hope. And there's even the promise to revolutionize medicine and health. However, the realization of personalized medicine is a snake. Very disappointing. What's the problem here? You, dear Laura, you identified and analyzed the most pressing barriers and challenges. The implementation of personalized medicine in EU member states. Well, your thesis seems to be a success story. The European Commission opened their windows and listened to you. Or you may had some confidential Zoom meetings with them. They will spend millions and billions of euros in the upcoming years on personalized medicine as one of the 8 European partnerships within Horizon Europe in the area of health. And guess what? The focus will be on the implementation of personalized medicine. Wow. Congratulations, dear Laura. Keep up going and all the best for you in the next steps in your career. Congratulations. Hannelore. Social innovation, the social entrepreneur as a driver for addressing health system challenges in Europe. dear Hannelore, my dear Hannelore, our journey together was and still is a very special and personal journey. You challenged me a lot of times. Social innovations had been always very close to my heart, and with you, dear Hannelore, it was wonderful to discuss the topic at eye level in so many details and facets. For example, how does new social practices that aim to meet social needs in a better way than the existing solution strengthen civil society? I'm convinced that the Master of Science in Public Policy and Human Development at EU Merit here in Maastricht, which you just started, is the perfect fit and the next step in your future and bright career. Please go on, be critical, please ask the question coming to your mind, even if they are very disruptive and very challenging. The world, the society needs young innovators like you, dear Hannelore. It was and will be a pleasure to be your mentor on your journey. The future is certainly yours, dear Hannelore. So these were the words from Angela. So then I invite Laura first to please pick up. Congratulations. Yes. Hannelore. Give her an applause again. I invite to come down for the next group, Emily Riddle and Yoni Küsters. This group was supervised by Dr. Elena Ambrosino, and Elena, I invite you as well to come down for the address.
Thank you. Hi, it was nice seeing you back again in person. Okay, it's nice to be here. I'm very happy to be here today for your graduation ceremony. I enjoyed very much working with you both and the whole group, of course, during your thesis projects, and I would like to congratulate you both for the accomplishments. Emily, your work on maternal health inequalities among Roma women was relevant and interesting. You have worked on it with dedication and have shown the ability to navigate this sensitive topic with cultural awareness. You were committed to give a voice to a vulnerable group and succeeded in that. You showed motivation throughout your work and ability to work well independently. You were also very supportive of others' research and provided useful insight to it. My congratulations. Dear Joni, you worked on alcohol consumption among pregnant women, on the historical discourse around it, and on the attitude of health professionals and expectant mothers. Your research topic was complex, and the evidence on it scant. You nonetheless succeeded in pointing out the challenges of this field. You contributed evidence on the historical narratives around it, and on the need for better guidance to promote health for mothers and ultimately their children. I congratulate you as well for this achievement.
Thank you, Elena. So I invite Emily to first pick up this diploma. Congratulations. I invite Kristen. No, that's too early. The next thesis group, I invite Hayoi and Hoye Wang and Ricardo Rovos to come down. And this thesis group has been supervised by Dr. Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, I invite you as well to welcome the students.
Thank you very much, Timo. It is my pleasure to stand in front of you guys today, especially because just a couple of years ago, I was sitting in your place, so you can get places with your diploma. Ricardo, we met as you were just a wide-eyed first-year student, and little did I know that you would approach me 3 years later to work on your thesis. You wanted to work on Japan because it's one of your primordial interests and passion. We therefore chose to work on the regulatory landscape of personalized medicine in Japan and the European Union. Ricardo, you were working as an avid and curious student, and you did not shy away to put in the extra mile. You were always pleasant to be around, and I would like to wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and I hope you fulfill your wishes of Japan. Howie, you approached me last minute as we heard that a supervisor was missing on the topic of antimicrobial resistance, together with Public Health Wales. You came in with a passion for statistics and quantitative analysis, and you displayed unparalleled willingness to acquire new skills. You mastered R in just a couple of months, and the research in your thesis is now resubmitted at PLOS. I trust that you will without a doubt find further interest in your master's degree in epidemiology. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pierre. So I invite Hoy first to take your diploma. The next student I invite to come down is Kirsten Gertz. Kirsten has been supervised by Dr. Siska Hoving. She's unfortunately not here today, and Matt is so kind to address you.
So, Siska wrote, Dear Kirsten, when I think of you during this internship, I think of perseverance. Your assignment focused on assessing the experiences and preferences of healthcare workers with an online training about palliative care communication with their patients. When COVID hit, you thankfully had already some interviews planned, but not as much as you had hoped. Your supervisor, Stephanie, offered you an alternative by letting you also analyze previously collected data. Not the same study design, not exactly the same focus or even the same target group, but you made it work. You persevered and you got it done. Being cut off from the university life does nothing for anyone's motivation. It was hard to do this by yourself, but you held on. Whether it was changing scenery to your mom's workplace with coffee and candy bars on tap, or investing in a paper planner to keep track of your progress better, you persevered and got it done. So if you take anything away from your internship, I believe you should remember that you got it done and did it well. Congratulations, Siska.
Kirsten. I invite Alexei Skneryev to come down. Alexei has been supervised by Professor Helmut Brandt, who is unfortunately not here there, and Helmut had asked me to address you, Alexei. Alexei, the impact of the cybersecurity issues on the European healthcare system. I hope you all remember that Maastricht University was hacked some time ago. And I hope you did not lose too many of your data. There were several hospitals in Europe that shared this fate. This shows that there seems to be interesting data in these organizations. And if you want to know what the impact of this is on the European healthcare system, you need to have to read the thesis of Alexei, in which he analyzed those cybersecurity issues. So next time you are hacked, you have to read his thesis. You know why this happened. Alexei, congratulations for your work, which has been timely and really useful. I am sure you will make a brilliant career in this field. Greetings from Helmut. Very short.
I'm sorry, this is gonna be in Russian. Mom, Pap, я знаю, что вы смотрите сейчас меня, и я хотел поблагодарить вас за все, что вы сделали для меня. Спасибо большое. Thank you.
student I invite to come down is Zainab Mohamed. Zainab was supervised by Professor Ellen Black, who is unfortunately not here today. Ellen has asked me to address you, Zainab. Dear Zainab, congratulations with your bachelor degree. It was a pleasure working with you. You took responsibility of a good planning, was very motivated and driven. You were eager to learn about the biology of aging and sarcopenia. The topic was protein guidelines for elderly with sarcopenia, revising the EFSA guidelines, in which you combined the biological background, how is sarcopenia, oh wow, what a word, you will know, how sarcopenia and muscle mass and strength affected by protein intake. As well, the policy aspects, how can outcomes be eventually translated into guidelines. You did a meta-analysis addressing randomized controlled trials, investigating protein supplementation on muscle mass and strength. You did this very well and did an excellent job in analyzing all data with complex statistics. You delivered a very good thesis. My compliments. The next group was supervised by Dr. Matt Commerce. It's quite a large group, and thereby we will split and ask you to come down in two portions. So first I would like to invite Rike Mast, Amelie Friedsam, and Ricardo Sacca to come down.
Oh, it's quite nice. I get to take my mask off. So, quite a pleasure. Actually, I had a little mask breakdown even during the ceremony. I don't know if you saw that, but it was quite dramatic. I managed to patch it back together just in time. So, Rika, you took on the challenging topic of investigating how diet relates to both the sustainability of our environment and to human health. We want to be more healthy, but we also want environmental sustainability. It was unique about your investigation that you not only did a literature search, but also conducted a survey among 145 participants in regards to various factors that could influence intentions to eat a diet that is both healthy and environmentally sustainable, the so-called planetary health diet. You found specific ways in which public policies can target and thereby boost people's intention to eat a healthy and sustainable diet, both on the side of good communication and information transfer and by making climate-friendly food products more affordable, accessible, and available. Yours was a very good and very thorough thesis with real value, which achieved a high level in terms of the theory used and the way you analyzed the data based on that theory. Congratulations on your success. I wish you all the best. Amelie, you addressed the compelling question of the growing risk in Europe of dengue fever due to changes in the climate. As the climate warms, more dengue fever is expected in Europe, and indeed, we have seen the first cases in Germany and Italy just this past year. Importantly, you asked, what will likely happen with dengue in Europe depending on various climate change scenarios? What plans are in place to combat this threat, and are they adequate? A particularly strong aspect of your thesis was how you really dug into the biology of dengue transmission and coupled this with the data from the literature. Also, your analysis of how this would be affected by the various climate change scenarios was very cogent and fascinating to read. This type of careful analysis is a strength that typifies your work. You worked consistently and professionally throughout the thesis process. I congratulate you on achieving a high level of success with your thesis, and I wish you all the best. Ricardo, you investigated the polyimplant prothesis, or PIP fraud, that became a scandal at EU level in 2011. After EU approval, over 400,000 women worldwide received breast implants that proved to have substantial health risks. Your interest in this theme was derived from your keen interest in how policymaking reacts to and is often driven by political events that create massive and acute pressure for change. You asked what the impact of the PIP scandal reveals about how health policy is made at EU level, and ultimately also on the development of health policy in the European Union. A significant conclusion of your thesis is that the over-reliance of the EU upon delegation of regulatory activity is a real risk to the effectiveness of EU health policies, and most specifically in regards to medical device regulation. It is good to see you here today, as you had to persevere through an extra year of study to finish some courses before finalizing the thesis. I'm glad for you, and I commend you that you did persevere. Partly as a result, you produced a thesis that, like a well-aged wine, shows the positive effects of slow aging, in this case in terms of the careful preparation that you gave its theoretical basis. I compliment you on your achievement, and I wish you all the best.
I invite you to get your diploma. My congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So then I invite Lea Kleber, Lisa Simon, Nora Klein, and Max Bormans to come down and hand over to Metteke.
Okay, hello. It's a little easier now with my glasses, so. Lea, you took on the challenge of investigating barriers to healthcare access for migrants in Germany. Over 1 million migrants have entered Germany since 2010, making this a very salient issue. You started by asking, what is Germany legally compelled to do for migrants in terms of health care based on its own national laws, but also based upon EU law and international treaties? You concluded that Germany is living up to its legal obligations, but is in some cases only doing the bare minimum. Your thesis is highly relevant to the current situation, and as such, it has real practical value. It was also particularly strong in the way that you discussed mental health issues, which of course are extremely relevant and challenging. One strength of your work, and something that typifies your thinking, is that you argue for planned structural change from within. Not a fix for one day, but long-term planning and policy that can get at the heart of an issue. Such an approach will be helpful to you throughout your career, I believe. I congratulate you on achieving success with your thesis and wish you the best for the future. Lisa. Lisa, you assessed the ways in which climate change is likely to impact food systems in Europe between now and the year 2050. The climate is changing, and this affects weather systems, water supply, too much and too little, and a range of other factors relevant to food security. You also focused on the issue of inequality or inequity, actually, in the ways that this impact will occur. You found that climate change will impact food security, though regions will be affected differently. Though climate change will affect food production most in Southern Europe, it will increase food security most in Eastern Europe. You also found that food security, or rather food insecurity, has a link with obesity, mental health morbidity, suicide, and nutritional deficiencies, among other things. One of the strengths of your thesis was the use of the theoretical framework from Ingram et al., which allowed for an effective structuring of your good results. You handled this large and at times difficult to define topic with insight and commitment, Lisa. You did a nice job, and I commend you in your achievement. Nora. Nora, you took a uniquely international approach by choosing to investigate how public health can best act to counteract the stigma associated with HIV infection. Stigma is so important because it prevents people from disclosing HIV status and has other far-reaching emotional and health impacts. It was an ambitious and challenging theme to investigate from the perspective of European public health. You took a systematic comparative approach, first diving deep into the theory of what stigma is, how it is defined, and how it works. Then you looked at work that has been done in sub-Saharan Africa to minimize stigma. Finally, you analyzed how European Union policies and projects interface with anti-HIV stigma work in sub-Saharan Africa. You found that the most pertinent and important EU policies on sub-Saharan Africa do not, but should, mention the importance of lowering HIV-related stigma, even though some EU-funded projects are targeted at reducing stigma. You did an excellent job with employing the prior and reader work on stigma, as well as the social ecological model as a basis for presenting your results. I congratulate you for your stamina and your achievement in finalizing this thesis, and I wish you the best in the years to come. Max. Max, you looked closely at migration to the European Union from a unique perspective. We often speak of migration to the EU as one monolithic movement of people. Your thesis started with the opposite assumption. Actually, migration to Europe includes large groups that are distinct from one another in many ways, that are likely to influence health-related behaviors, and the interface of healthcare systems with migrants in need. You asked, what are the demographics, cultural indicators, health behaviors, and health statuses of the 5 largest immigrant groups to Europe? You found that immigrants from Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, and Nigeria comprise the largest inflow, and they differ a lot. 95% of Pakistani immigrants are male, but in all the other groups, only about 2/3 are men. 95% of non-Nigerian immigrants are Muslim, though only half of Nigerians are Muslim and half are Christian. Literacy rates ranged from 43% among Afghani immigrants to 86% among Iraqi immigrants. These numbers have real implications for how to formulate good policies to care for and help immigrants upon arrival. You struggled with the huge amounts of data you dug up. I congratulate you on dealing with that large volume of information and bringing it together into a coherent and helpful whole. I wish you all the best.
So I invite Leah to first pick up the diploma. My congratulations, Leah. Okay, we have come to the end of this session in which 16 candidates received their diplomas. And I have a couple of final announcements. And after the final slides of Matt, a final assignment to you. Although we prepared we hope to have prepared your diplomas with great care, it is always possible that there is an error within your name, the grades, attachments. So I invite you afterwards at home to check if everything is correct in your diploma, and if not, to approach the Board of Examiners again. Further on, please note, unfortunately, there's no gathering afterwards and no drinks after this graduation. I nevertheless invite you to remain in the hall because a group picture will be taken here. We will further instruct you. In about 3 weeks, there will be a link to these pictures sent to your university email account by the alumni office. After the picture, we would like you to ask to leave the hall row by row with distance again. Go to the reception of UNS 40 for signing out and heading off the building and the campus thereafter. It was nevertheless a great pleasure for me to be the first to congratulate you. From this place, as it is good custom in the Netherlands, I would like to congratulate the family and friends at home with the achievement of your candidate, now graduate. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the meeting. I wish you all, nevertheless, a pleasant day, and I hereby close this meeting. Bye-bye.